Here's how I went from selling drugs in high school with my best buddy to now working with actual billionaires. And we just closed our 4th billionaire client this week, who sold her company for $5 billion. And so, first off, where did we start? It was sophomore or junior year in high school, and PJ, my best buddy, I remember we were at his locker, and he was like, dude, no one has any nicotine right now. Every single person's in the bathroom saying, hey, do you have a dispo? Where's your vape? Do you have XYZ? He's like, there's a drought going on. He was like, I was just doing some research and I saw that we could buy some boxes of these disposable nicotine sticks for like a few $100 online. He's like, we could buy them and sell them for $15 each and we would make a few $100. I was like, that sounds kind of sketchy. But I was like, he was like, come on, dude, let's just do it. And so I was like, all right, fine. We both put in $57. He put in $57, I put in $57. We got our first batch of boxes. And so it's like an electronic cigarette that where you smoke and vape. I actually never liked nicotine, I never did it. And we bought the boxes, which came with, I think, 25 or something like that. So we put in $100 and then we sold them. We sold 20 of them for $12. And so then we doubled our money, or we may even have made a little bit more. But the second we got them, they sold out instantly. And then the next day, everyone that we sold them to was like, do you have more? Everyone still needs them. So we said, holy shit. So we took the $250 and then we put it back in, we bought new boxes. And then those boxes turned into another 10 boxes. And then we just kept on reinvesting the money and reinvesting until we were buying like $10,000 worth of boxes. And we were like, well, shoot, now the limiting constraint is we can only go and drive and sell so many. So we need to hire people. So we started to hire drivers. We started to hire drivers in different cities, in different schools. We had 10 drivers full-time that were going and selling these nicotine sticks for us. And then I would just deal with the bulk orders. We were actually doing some shipping across America for massive bulk orders. At the peak, we were getting them for $3, selling them at retail for $12. The market price was $15, so we were actually undercutting, making incredible margins, and then we were selling bulk for like $7. And so it was an incredible business, and we were crushing it. Eventually that got shut down because I got shot at, and so I completely turned everything over and said, this is the stupidest thing ever. I never want to do this again. It was on my 18th birthday. It's good timing. And we never wanted to sell drugs. We wanted to run a business, and we ran it like a business, which is why we dominated the marketplace. There was no competition of any people that were running these nicotine sticks like a business. Most of them were just people that wanted to fund their own nicotine addiction, which we didn't smoke. And so then turning a new leaf, I was like, fuck, I really want to get into business, but I don't know what the fuck to do. We failed miserably. We ended up losing every single dollar we made, and we were making ungodly amounts of money at 17 years old. I had a job where I was a lifeguard and swim instructor, and I was making like 100 times that, but we never took it out because we were always reinvesting back into the business because there was unlimited demand for what we were doing. The first business we ever did was a marketplace where there was quite literally unlimited demand and always limiting supply. It was the best thing in the entire world. Most people have a business where they're always trying to chase their next customer. We were always trying to get new supply and always reinvesting. And so then it was reaching out to people because I started to really study macroeconomics. The world was shut down because of COVID, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna find a way to get into business. I want to apprentice myself under someone who's already ran a successful business. So I was reaching out to people every single day, asking to work for them for free, asking to pay to work for people. At that point, I had some money saved up. So I was saying, I will pay you $20,000 if you let me work for you. Didn't get any results. I was offering 10% of my earnings for the next 10 years of if I could work from someone, learn from them, and then I would pay them a 10% commission on whatever I earned for 10 years. And that now would have been an incredible amount of money now that the business is doing very well. Anyway, still didn't get anywhere. There was one person that I really wanted to work for. He retired young. He was 37 when he retired. He was just talking on YouTube about macroeconomics. He had already run many very successful businesses. And what he said resonated with me very well. It just felt right. And I trusted my gut and I said, I want to work for this guy. So I got his logo tattooed on my leg and I flew across the country and I harassed him until I started working for him. A lot of people already know that, but he's not a billionaire. So how did I start to get my first super successful clients? I started working for that guy, just doing macroeconomic research. I wasn't doing anything fancy. I was just studying macro, doing the research. But then I saw a hole in the marketplace where this was really during when the vaccine mandates were super popular, and he was very ambitious to get the word out that that was very unconstitutional, that was very wrong. You should not be mandating anyone getting vaccines. And so we wanted to prioritize getting as many views as possible. And by far, this guy was the most articulate, George. He still is the most articulate person in the space. But he said it the most simply. He was the best at explaining it, but he wasn't getting the most amount of views. So it was really reverse engineering what the top people in the space who got the most amount of views did that we didn't, because they knew something that we didn't know. So I started studying, what do they do to where we can get more views? And then it's implementing the strategies of the top people into what he was doing, and that really made a difference to where he started to get a lot of views. I learned most of this from George. He was already very good at it. But then I just started to help some of George's friends. I went to the first guy who had a multi-billion-dollar company. He has a massive, massive real estate portfolio of 10,000 apartments. And I said, dude, what you're doing, you are making videos online right now, but they get no traction. I said, dude, just let me help you. I'll work 100% for free. Only if I make you more money than what you're currently making from it, then I'll take a percent. I said, but I don't really care. My objective is to learn how to scale a business from you. And so I started working with him and really blew his stuff up. And what happens when you show incredible results for someone of that stature? Well, their friends notice. And his friends, who also run multi-billion-dollar companies, said, hey, I want this as well. And so then I started to parlay that into business, where we were helping very large businesses do all of the organic media. And now we're building out all the back-end funnels. We're becoming an in-house marketing agency. But it just came from providing excess amount of value and figuring out what the marketplace needed. I didn't give a fuck about social media. I cared about helping these guys. I wanted to learn from them. I wanted to get experience. I wanted to understand more about business. And if I could work with these guys, I knew that that would be incredibly beneficial. And it has been. It's been completely life-changing. And it's completely changed the trajectory of my life and of the business's life. And so just this week, because there's so much good faith, because if you continuously provide a good service, it's like the nicotine. There was always unlimited demand for people that wanted the nicotine. The constraint was always supply. That's the same business that I want to curate, where we provided such a high quality service that every single person wanted it. Because in theory, if you can blow up someone's organic media, you can improve their funnels, and you could get them unlimited leads for their business for free, that is an incredible business model. And so now, we have a ton of demand for what we're doing. And it's really just picking the best clients. But the main takeaways are, what you start with is not going to be what you finish with, most likely. The big thing is you just have to start and take action. And sometimes it takes a massive amount of outsized risk, effort, and pushing before you start to get any results. For me, it took 12 months before I got any results. The story is now very quick, but when you're going through it, studying, reaching out, not getting anything, 12 months is a very long period of time. And it sucks, and you want to quit. I want to quit many times. I wanted to quit and do different things. But if I stopped doing what I was doing, I would have lost all momentum. I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. And then it was just saying yes to every single micro opportunity humanly possible. Always just to prioritize learning and education. And now we have a pretty good team. We got Cade back here. We have Postway. We have Mosway. Coastway is back at it.